Seeds of Freedom. What does it mean?
Well, it's a good title for the project. Seeds of Freedom, you're freeing from this revolving state of poverty. Like, we want to have the church be a part of restoring this community and people being restored through this farm. I mean, people have gone there and, nothing has changed. Like, we're asking ourselves, like, it's the spirit of the time, in the 21st century. It's like, well, what are we doing, that moves the needle in like projects that we're doing? What is the church's role in doing that in the community? And that's what we've figured out a pathway to do that, and that's what we're saying is Seeds of Freedom, and people there are resonating with that. They are excited about it. They're doing it.
They're ready to be involved.
Yeah. We just need to keep stepping forward in faith and pushing forward, and the church needs to take it on.
Yeah, so we have a community in Liberia, West Africa, a place called Bonga. Hundreds of people are ready to rise up and be involved in this, and we need a couple hundred people to rise up and be involved in it here. If you'll step forward and support this, and we hope that if you are listening that you will do that, this partnership will plant seeds of freedom. You're planting a seed that will set somebody free to live the life that God has called them to live, and will build communities in a transformed way. So I hope you're excited as you listen. I definitely am. Guys, great work on this project. Just so blessed to be a part of it. And we invite you to be a part of it too, folks listening at home. So this is a missionary project. And I don't think that the general public thinks of us as missionaries, but we are missionaries to Liberia. We want the church to know that we're doing international missionary work. And we do the same kind of work in the United States. It's just completely different. See other podcasts for that. But for this, a lot of times in missions, people are doing very worthwhile things. Like building houses, providing medical care, providing material goods, food, clothing. But there's always been a problem with missionary work that we can provide the material goods, but eventually that runs out. And you have to continue to fund and to fuel that. And it's really not going to sustainably bring an improved quality of life. People will remain in poverty. Over the years that I've been in the church, I've seen a lot of areas continue to remain in poverty despite excellent missionary work. And that's where this project sort of redefines our thinking, because I think that we went in with a regular missionary mindset. Like, we want to help, we want to do some good. That's what we're being asked to do. We really needed to rethink, though, what would really break the cycle of poverty. And this is what we come up with is, let's return to the basics of how quality of life is built. Farming.
And I think that Western civilization and wanting to apply those values like in that context through like academics who go over there, there's a danger of looking at poverty in a way that's like, well, these people have and these people do not. So you can kind of equal that out. But there's disregards people don't think about. We all started at a state of poverty like we did like 400, 500 years ago.
Pilgrims didn't have it so good.
Yeah, Pilgrims did not have it good. I'm glad I'm not a pilgrim.
Mayflower didn't work out well.
Yeah. What things did they have to do to move forward? And we can use those types of ideas in different contexts.
Yeah, and we'll be in different phases of this project. Maybe some people are out there thinking, I know nothing about farming. How am I going to be of help? When you take care of these basic needs, it leads to other things. So eventually, the people who are getting jobs on the farm, becoming farmers, will need to know how to build. They'll need to know how to have plumbing. They'll need to know how to build roadways. And those are the projects that we would like to be involved in, not to provide all of that or be responsible, but to provide the infrastructure and the training so that 20 years from now, the experts in farming are in Liberia. Builders are building their own businesses. And instead of us saying, hey, we built 1,000 houses in the last 10 years, we can say, we taught 1,000 people how to build houses in Liberia and provided a structure that helped them build 100,000 houses. We didn't do it, they did it. That's the dream. I hope our listeners are listening to this, because we'll tell you how to get involved in this as we go along. In this stage, the involvement is support. We would encourage you to consider sustainable support. For as little as $5 of support, you could be part of this. And that's what we need. We have this email that introduces this podcast goes out to 25,000 people. If everybody just gave for the price of a cup of coffee every month, we would get this project done. And we wouldn't come back to you year after year asking for the same thing. If we come back, next year, we'll show you how this has progressed. And now this is moving towards sustainability, which means it's paying for itself.
Right.
And now we're into a next stage and a next opportunity.
Yep.
Like someday, maybe that would be to introduce mechanized farming, and that it would be the same kind of component that would happen, folks, that people would see that there and say, wow, we should be doing that too.
Yeah.
And then the whole game changes. And then someday in Africa, you will see that they have the kind of infrastructure that they don't need missionaries anymore. They have that in that way. Or at least what we're doing in this partnership will radically be transformed into something different.
Yeah.
And that's our hope. That's what we would want here. That we're not 100 years down the road and saying we need to plant the next farm. We would want to be doing that ourselves. And that's what we see the opportunity with our partnerships there. Yeah, we'll send a team over once a year because we're limited by funds. It would be ideal to send a team every quarter because you'll have multiple harvests. And it's just consultation, and every time that we bring over, we can strategically plan more. We meet with the team online weekly and manage the project. And it's progressing very well. But again, our limitation is the funding. We will expend $40,000 this year, and that is what we're asking to be sustained. And we could definitely scale that project with more funding, but we would like to start there to meet that funding need. And so, that's where we come to this part of, how do I get involved in this? And I hope our donors, our listeners are asking that question. Here's the Foundation for Christian Counseling website. This is our nonprofit organization that you can donate to for a tax-deductible donation. And it's ffcc4u.com. ffcc4u.com, and you go to the front page, and there's a lot of programs here that we have. This is just one of the programs that the foundation funds. You can donate by hitting the donate button at the bottom of the page. Then it gives you an option to donate at whatever amount, and we have suggested amounts. You have an option to donate once or donate monthly. Ultimately, what we are hoping to do is we have an advocate level donation campaign that we could get all of our programs like Seeds of Freedom funded if we had 300 advocate donors. Advocate donors will commit to $125 monthly or $1,500 per year, and you could just simply donate that on a monthly basis by going on the website and following the steps, or you can make a one-time donation. And again, I would like to encourage people who are like, I just want to get involved, I want to help. Any level of donation would help. We want you to become a friend of the foundation, a friend of the people in Liberia, West Africa, and support this project. It'll really, really help. Alex, Tom, you've really given us a great idea of how this can transform communities. That's the mission of the foundation, and that's the mission of Seeds of Freedom.